Podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolutions, my friend. So saving money was on your 2024 list. Your odds aren't looking great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile right now, my friends. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Choose from 3, 6, or 12-month plans and say goodbye to a monthly bill. Wow. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate, whether you're buying one for family or whatever. It doesn't matter. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and you get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/genius15. That's mintmobile.com/genius15. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/genius15. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
I already heard what you're going to say to me on the podcast, but like the thing that kind of like had me sit in there and think about it for like a couple of days was like, you know, when sometimes people come into this city, right, they lose a little bit of their humanity. Because they see the behavior of other people and they think, oh, that's how everybody does it. It's like, oh, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We accompany you every week on your stupid lives.
What the fuck?
Because
thanks for listening.
that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Peace. I say that because my life is very stupid.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah, boom, roasted. All of us, our lives are just absolutely stupid. This whole world that we live in is fucking dumb.
It is. It's stupid. What's the point of any of this, man?
You know, so this I'm very curious to hear, like, I want to hear everybody else's stories in the comments below. I actually like it when people write what happened to them and they relate. I actually love reading that shit. So this past week, now listen, I am notoriously known for being late. That is like my shit. Mine is to work stuff, right? Okay, maybe a couple of meetings. But I'm always like 10 to 20 minutes late, right? When I first came to Los Angeles, everybody always showed up late. I was always the first person all the fucking time. And it would always just be waiting there for like half an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why the fuck am I always here on time?
That pisses me off, man.
And so it was like that always. And it actually started with JK News. Nobody would show up on time. So I would start showing up late, right? And so usually in the beginning of JK News for the first 20 minutes, people are eating breakfast. If I'm not going to eat, I'm just going to show up 20 minutes late. So there's this thing of like, oh, David always shows up late. It's like, yeah, because you guys aren't shooting. Like, I'll show up and you guys shoot.
Yeah.
It'd be like 20 minutes later. Anyways, I am very gracious with people being late because I tend to always be late, right? 30 minutes, I don't even fucking care. The thing that I do care about is just texting that you're going to be late. So if, let's say, the time has passed 5 minutes and you're like, hey, traffic, I forgot something. I don't care what the fuck it is. It could even be like, I forgot we were meeting up today.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
It's just showing basic respect for somebody else's time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's like, oh, if you're going to be late, at least you let me know so I'm not wondering where you're at or what's happening. So this past week, I was like kind of ranting to the story and I was joking around. But as I was telling the story on my Instagram stories, I started actually getting fucking angry. So I was on my way to go to my friend Eunice. First of all, the event was stupid. It was a birthday party for her fucking dog. But I was just going to go because I love her and I wanted to go see her. So I'm supposed to go there. I'm already basically at the location. But then my friend hits me up. That's a friend from Sacramento. He's just recently started getting into production, but he was supposed to pick up these lenses. And it happens to be Canon manual ones. And I was like, I have this. Will this work? He goes, yeah, I need this. Like, my ass is on the line. Like, I forgot to rent it out. You forgot to rent lenses out to a fucking music video shoot, you dumbass. Either way, moved here 3 years ago. I'm like, fine. I drive all the way back. I was like, hey, I have to go to this thing for my friends. So can you meet me at this spot? He goes, got it. I'll be there, whatever. I drive back 20 minutes to go grab it. I'm rushing because I know his ass is on the line. Grab it. I go to the meetup spot. I told him to meet me up in about like 30 to 40 minutes. 30, 40 minutes pass, no text, no nothing. I'm just waiting there. Right? Cool. I'm at the location 15 minutes, like, hey, where are you at? I got to bounce. And then 30 minutes pass, still no response.
Wow.
40, 50 minutes. At this point, I didn't leave because I'm like, he told me he needs this, but he's not responding. So maybe his phone died, something happened, but he's still going to come here because I gave him the address. So a lot of these things are, because I'm giving this person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe his phone died, so he can't reach, but he needs it, so I'll just stay here. So like an hour passes, and then you get a text. He goes, I'm on my way.
Oh
my God.
Dog.
I can't.
Hell no.
I was like,
that shit.
I was like texting him and I go, bro, I thought your phone died or something happened to you. You said your ass was on the line and you needed this. I'm already an hour late to my other event. You know what I'm saying? I went out of the way. Make sure that you're here in 15 or 20, right? Doesn't even respond after
When
that.
you're doing him a favor.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Doesn't respond. Again. So another half hour. It's an hour and a half now.
Bro.
So that other event's already fucked, right?
Yeah.
And so hour and a half passes by. Then he texts me again. I'm 15 minutes away. I'm like fucking boiling, right?
Yeah.
Because the only reason why I stayed that long is because he says he needed this because he fucked up his job.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. Now I'm thinking like, do I just beat the fucking shit out of him at this point? Because I think like the part that I had to assess is like, why was I so angry? It's like, it's because I think he kind of just brushed me off. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's not just brushing you off, bro. That's like complete disrespect of your time.
Which is kind of wild, right? Because he's known me for a very long time. And so like, I'm like, okay. So I see him and he comes up. And I didn't tell this part in the story, but this is like the full scale of it. See, I'm kind of like seething angry because I felt like he was treating me like a little bitch. Like, oh, he'll just stay here and because he's my homie, so he'll just be here whenever I need him. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's what it was. Now, I know him and I know his wife, right? So he's walking up and he's like, thanks, man, you're a lifesaver. And I'm so fucking heated. I just put my hand on his shoulder and I fucking grip it extra tight. And I'm like, what the fuck is your fucking problem?
Yeah.
Right? He goes, oh, my bad, man. Like, I'm in a rush. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. These lenses were supposed to be free. It's a 6-day shoot. It's $120 a day. So by the time you give me these fucking lenses back, you owe me a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
This isn't free anymore. He goes, oh, it's a small shoot. I don't know. I was like, I'm not saying, I don't give a fuck if you can afford it. It comes out of your fucking pocket. You had me sit here for 2 fucking hours.
Yeah.
All you could have texted was, hey, I'm going to be late, blah, 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 blah. So you tell me what happened. Why did you show up so fucking late?
Podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guarantee way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile right now. Mint Mobile has wireless plans starting at $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. Think about all the money that you could save, my friends, and saving money in the most easy way possible simply by just switching to a great wireless plan that Mint Mobile provides. Why not do it that way? It's a no-brainer. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. So to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/genius15. That's mintmobile.com/genius15. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/genius15. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
And you could tell when somebody's going to lie because they're kind of like searching for in their stupid fucking beady eyes, Pete, you fuckface. I already told him I was going to talk about this on the podcast. Yeah. So, and he some bullshit fucking excuse. I can't remember what it is now. And I just looked at him and I was like, hey, you know how much I hate liars. What the fuck happened? And he goes, okay, I was busy doing other things and I just kind of prioritized things wrong. And then I was like, that's cool. Here's the thing.
That's not
Why the fuck didn't you text me?
Yeah, no,
you know?
But that's not cool though.
Exactly. I'm like, why didn't you? I could have gone to that fucking stupid event, done my shit, and fucking came back, and you still would have got your shit. And he was like, oh, I saw you were writing these funny stories or whatever, and I thought so it would be better for me to apologize to you in person. And I was like, I just told you not to fucking lie to me. I'm gonna fuck you up because I'm getting angry now because he thinks I'm fucking stupid. Yeah. And then he starts talking. I was like, yeah, because he just had a kid. So I was like, oh, I'm stressed. I just had a kid, blah, blah, blah. My head's all over the place. I was like, so now it's your kid's fault. So it's not your fault. It's your kid's fault and your wife. Yeah. You're a fucking asshole. So now this guy owes me money. He's giving me the equipment next week. And I just couldn't I was so fucking mad. I've never been so disrespected in my life.
No, I mean, but look, man. Part of the blame goes to you because you should have just fucking bounced. You shouldn't even have been like, hey, you fucking asked me for a favor. You're not going to respect my time? Well, then fuck you. You're going to learn to respect my time because now I'm going to be on my time and do my thing. You call me? Where am I at? Who knows?
A part of me I think I wanted to just see him so I could just beat his
Oh, I'm all about that. Yeah. I'm like, I will sit and stew in this just to see your stupid fucking face to let you know you're a goddamn motherfucking idiot and you deserve to get smacked on the lips.
Yeah, no, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves too, is just like people disrespecting your time and like basically not thinking twice about it. Yeah, I have like a more recent story about this too, where I'm a client of somebody, right? And to get to their building, you need to have somebody open the gate for you, right? And so the person I'm talking to is not on site. So I'm like, oh, can you ask the other person if they're going to be there so they can open the gate for me? Oh, that person said they're not sure. Okay, well, I really need to get there to get something, right? If he is there, can he open the gate? This guy tells the guy I'm talking to tell me, oh, if he waits at the gate long enough, somebody will open.
Oh my God. Dude.
I was like, what the fuck? Dude, I fucking went like 0 to 100. I was fucking fuming.
Yeah.
I'm like, this motherfucker is telling me to sit there for God knows how long just to see if the gate will open at some point. So it could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 hours. Who the fuck knows? And I'm a fucking client of his. I'm like, is this guy out of his fucking mind right now? You know, like that made me want to fight this dude. You know, like that really made me want to fight the dude. You know, and this other guy had to kind of be peacemaker of like, oh, you know how he is. Sometimes you know he can be stupid or whatever. And I'm like, nah, this motherfucker's crossing the line though. He's essentially telling me that my time is not important to him and to just fucking wait there.
And he's in the building.
He ended up dude, I went there and he ended up fucking being there.
That's fucking crazy.
And he was saying, oh, he's not sure how long he's going to be there for or if he's going to be there when I get there.
And he's there and he won't open the gate.
That's the fucking... Here's the thing, too. It's like... the reason why I dislike this, too, is like how you treat one person is how you treat everybody, right? Because if you said to that individual, like, hey, let's say I don't know, fucking whoever he likes, Kanye West or some shit. You think you would have said that to Kanye West?
Exactly.
It's like...
No, I've seen that with this dude.
Yeah.
I've seen how his behavior changes to somebody who's like, has some clout or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? That's what fucking pisses... Like, bro, none of that fucking shit matters. Like, I'm a fucking client of yours.
Yeah.
I fucking pay you money for a service.
Yeah. Like, this is not some friend shit. Like,
then you fucking gonna tell me indirectly... Just fucking wait there and maybe you'll get it. What the fuck kind of... Bro, I was like, dude, if it wasn't for the other dude, I would have fucking been out of there.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. Like, especially with this guy, you know, we're gonna have a conversation next week when he this. It'd be so funny. He's listening to this podcast. He's like, I already heard what you're gonna say to me on the podcast. But like the thing that kind of like had me sit in there and think about it for like a couple of days was like, you know, when sometimes people come into this city, right? They lose a little bit of their humanity because they see the behavior of other people and they think, oh, that's how everybody does it. It's like, oh, other people don't care about my time, so I don't have to care about other people's time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not important in this in the hierarchy of like film yet, and they treat me like I'm a nobody because he had to start off as a PA. But some people look at that as like, oh, I remember what it was like to be a PA, so I'm going to start treating people better.
That's my story here in LA. Coming here and then seeing how many people look down on me.
Just get shitted on.
Just a number of people who say, that's my video guy. Like, bitch, I don't work for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? But then he's like, we'll be out and about there. And then multiple people, that's my video guy. That's my guy. And I'm like, and then you're different. He's like, he does my videos.
Yeah.
You know? So... I saw it in that way too. It's like, I'm not like you, motherfucker. That behavior I detest. I can't even behave that way either. I can't do that to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of the difference between somebody like you and other individuals who might instead perpetuate that, you know, type of behavior. Be like, oh, that's how I'm treated. And then I get to a certain level, well, that's how I was treated, so that's how you need to be treated. Rather than having it stop there. It's like, no, I remember what it was like to get treated like that. So I'm not going to perpetuate that.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop this vicious cycle.
And I think for this guy in his case, like he comes into this city and then he does the opposite, which is like, oh, this is how it is, right? Like I'm this producer. Now, first of all, you're a producer of a small music video, you little dumb bitch. You're a fucking nobody. Shut the fuck up, right? So I think he kind of, you could tell, because I've been around it long enough, and I think if other people haven't, they can't sense this type of stuff. But it's like, oh, you picked up a very bad habit. But you also forget, Pete, is that this fucking town is very small. It's like one bad word gets out about you, it spreads everywhere like a fucking virus. You will never fucking work again. And by the way, it's like, it's very simple for me just to be like, oh, take those lenses back and say, oh, by the way, your producer forgot this. And if you don't pay me, just one little quick call to the director. Your guys' production fucking owes me money.
Yeah.
Did he tell you that, I don't know, you forgot the equipment and he was scrambling to get the stuff? Did your producer tell you this? So it's like these type of things can happen, right?
Yeah.
And I think for somebody like him, he comes into this city from a small town like Sacramento and now he thinks he's some hot shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not hot shit, dude. Everybody's fucking job is expendable like that in this fucking city. And he picked up these very terrible fucking habits. And it's like nobody has ever said anything twice about him, right? Especially if he's like the producer on the video set.
Yeah.
He's up there, you know?
I have a feeling that he's too familiar with you.
A little bit.
No,
like,
but even still, I mean, I think that's like even worse if somebody that you know well is disrespecting your time like that.
My point being, like, this fucking band from Seattle, you know, I was doing their videos because I'm coming hot out of school. New Heights, yeah. Fuck you guys, honestly. Not the Travis Kelce podcast, but New Heights, this band from Seattle. Like, I'm coming out of school and I'm just like, yo, let me film a music video, free, whatever, right? Over time, I'm just there, like, I'm honing my skills in video by shooting their shit.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was that familiarity where they just expected me to do all their shit for free.
Yeah, see.
You know?
That's
And then what the fucked up part was, once I was like, yo, I'm not doing this for free, what do? Find the next guy who would do it for free. Right? And so when it comes to actually paying, they won't. They'll just find another kid to copy my shit.
Yeah, dude, bro, it's like even when we were shooting our Secret Society lookbook at our launch, right? We were working on a fucking super tight budget. And I mean, the production value of it looks like we spent $30,000, $40,000 on it. But, you know, we were just working with a few grand. And it's a multi-day shoot with tons of people. And we were only able to execute on it because you know, a lot of it were friends who were down for, you know, helping us out to achieve what we were trying to go for. Bro, I did everything possible to try to get people paid. Even if, even one of the talents, right, was a friend. And he was like, no, you know, don't worry about it. Even if it meant I could give him $100, $150, like whatever we could spare out of the budget, I was willing to do it. And it's like, you know, they could take it as one of two ways of like, oh, they're working with a tight budget, so I appreciate the gesture, or like, yo, that's kind of fuck. Yeah, that's kind of offensive, right? Like, I wasn't willing to take any money, but damn, like, I might as well not take any money if you're gonna give it to. And so, even it's like kind of that saying, right? Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Yeah. But like the intention for me always in situations is like, if somebody's willing to help me out or like is lending me their time or whatever, I want to reciprocate that as much as I possibly can. And, you know, you talking about shit like that, there's so many people like that who are just disrespectful of other people's time. And it's not even like when you're doing somebody favors. It's just be basic shit. Hey, let's meet up for lunch.
Yeah.
30 minutes late. What the fuck's going on? Where you at?
Just text me.
No, and like you said, when they bullshit about it, all right, if you fucked up, just own up to it. Hey, my bad, I overslept. I might not be happy about it, but it's going to be infinitely better than you fucking making up some bullshit excuse.
Like, also, too, it's like, Pete, like, what am I, your fucking dad? You know? Yeah. I'm going to meme you? Am I going to fucking spank you, you fucking tard? What's wrong with you, you idiot? I think that's the thing, too. It's like, what is going to happen here? It's like, oh, maybe I was gonna beat his ass, but it's like, you know, it's just that too just really rubbed me the fucking wrong way. You know what I mean? And it's like, by the way, bro, like you're not gonna fucking make it in this industry at all if this is how you work. Like it's just absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that. Like, you know, we both came from very small. Like Sacramento is a small town still, so it's just like for how far back we've gone. It's like, oh, so it would be amazing to be like, I wonder if like my position was a lot higher, would he have done the same? And I always think about that, right?
I do not think so.
I don't think so, right? Like if I was like some kind of amazing director he wanted to work with, right? Would you have done the same? You probably wouldn't have, right? And look, I may not be a top fucking up there or whatever, whatnot, right? But I do have a huge platform. I could put your first and last name and your production company out there, and I could ruin your fucking reputation just like that.
Right.
Like really, I could if I was vindictive enough, right? Because of how you treated me as an individual, as somebody you fucking know personally, and on top of that too, just as a human being, it's fucking wild. Dude.
Yeah.
Just oh yeah, he'll just wait there for me.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude.
That's the thing. That familiarity like extends beyond business. So with this fucking band, I let my friend who was in the band, who played electric guitar, to use my amp for like their shows, right? And then when I asked for it back, he was like, no, has it, right? And I'm like, why the fuck does have it? And then what I found out was that he was getting paid to be a worship leader at these churches, and he was using my amp to lead worship every week. So he's getting paid to fucking do that shit, right? And by that time, I was so fucking pissed that I emailed their manager like, hey man, that's a Vox AC30, a classic amp. Like that shit costs like $50 to $80 per session, man. And you've been doing it for a year now. And let's go back through your books and see how many paid gigs you had with my amp, right? And so their manager emails him like, bro, what the fuck is this? Give him back his amp. Bad date that it happened though. I just broke up with a girl. And I was already feeling down. And then he's like, hey, let's meet up. I'm at this bar in downtown Seattle. Meet me there. I have it in my trunk. It's like, first of all, why the fuck would you? Anyway, I was just heated. I don't know what to say. My mind's in a fog. And I go up to the bar and he comes out a little tipsy and he's just cool about it. Hey, man, it's just happy. And then my amp is like fucking scratched up and shit too. I'm just like, what the fuck? Did you guys go on tour with this too? Yeah. You know? And I was so mad. Like I couldn't say anything because, you know, he's like short and small. It's like, it would be mean.
Very short, very tiny.
Something like that to him. Anything. And I was just
very
closed
small.
my mouth, took my shit, put it in the trunk, and I never talked to him again. Right? Then fucking years later, I'm hanging out with you. This guy FaceTimes you.
Oh, yeah.
He was like drunk calling you.
Oh, I gotta have this one on the podcast.
Yeah. Explain yourself.
I make fun of him so much. It's unreal. Like every time he posts something, I always make fun of him. And that's why he's very tiny. He's like dick sucking height. If he stood on both of his feet, he could suck you off perfectly fine.
Wow.
He's actually a really sweet guy. Very sweet guy. He's just like, I just can't
He just doesn't treat the people he works with that well. Or at least I had a fucking terrible experience.
This fool, he FaceTimes us. He's like, dude, don't hate me. Like, it's not me. I'm a good person. Don't hate me.
That was the fucked up part, was that he feigned responsibility and he goes, it was this. It wasn't me. I'm like,
It's out of the blue?
I'm like, dude, that doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
I already hate both you guys, and now you're like putting it on him. Like, fuck you, dude. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean, look, man, those are just the type of people who take advantage of people they feel like they can take advantage of.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, sometimes they're not even like consciously doing it. It's just like, you're beneath me, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
You know? And then those are, like you guys are saying, the same type of people who see somebody with a little bit of clout. Oh, let me put this motherfucker on
I'm
a pedestal.
perfect dick sucking height.
Yeah, exactly. let me fucking wet these lips up a little bit. You know,
cloud people are the funniest, man. When I went to, and I might have told the story before on the podcast, where when I was acting, I did that film on Sundance, and then everybody comes knocking at your door. Well, rightfully so, the film does well. But I went to like these mixers, and then people, some fucking random actors, I don't know who they are, but they don't know who anybody is here.
Yeah.
Right. They don't know if you're an actor. They don't know if you're a manager, if you're scouting for talent, if you're a casting director. And so I'm kind of hanging around with these other like casting directors, right? Because I've met them before, right? And we're very casual. We're just talking, chopping it up or whatever, whatnot. And then I think some of these people assumed that I was a casting director as well, and so they just started, laughing. Yeah, basically, like anything I said, cracking the fuck up, laughing. Yeah. I remember I stopped. We're also, we're a little drunk, and then I'm like, "Hey, I'm not anybody." I was like, oh, I don't know. It's like, no, I'm not a casting director. I'm not anybody. You don't have to laugh at everything that I'm saying. He's like, no, man, you're a really cool dude. I was like, hey, come on,
come on, guy.
Come on. You gotta do this.
Give it up. Come on, guy. You don't gotta do this, guy.
I was like, come on, it's a long night, dude. It's like, you don't gotta do all this, man. It's like, then I introduced him to some of the other cast directors and came up, and after, I didn't say this, but he apologized. And I was like, I get it, man. It's exhausting, man. Like, you want a job and stuff. I was like, but I'm a nobody, dude. So just focus that energy somewhere else. But that's what happens, though, And
everybody's selling themselves in this town. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I always say too, man. Like, LA's home. I love the city, but I don't always necessarily love the people here. You know,
there's a lot of transplants. Speaking of reputation, I do want to talk about this, is because, public opinion sways so easily.
Yeah.
We have our beloved Dave Chappelle in the comedy space, right? And one of the rules that Dave Chappelle has at his shows, now, this didn't actually happen at one of his shows, so I think that's why there were cell phones here.
Yeah.
But the topic of Katt Williams came up, right? And I don't know what the onset was that allowed for this conversation to happen on stage, because D. Ray Davis was on stage as well. And D. Ray was basically, I wouldn't say arguing, but kind of bringing up points to counteract what Dave was saying about the whole Katt Williams.
There was a disagreement.
There was a disagreement, right? About what Katt Williams has done, right? And this kind of turned the internet against Dave Chappelle, which has historically just has never happened.
I think
with the trans jokes.
Yeah, I think the tide's been turning
within comedy.
Yeah, I definitely think the tide has been turning a little bit in terms of Dave Chappelle. Like before, I mean, look, he's still fucking GOAT status, but
that'll never change.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, man. I don't know if this guy's been like going through something, or he just has been a little bit off, and I feel like he's kind of losing touch with like what's really going on in the world, right? And kind of like a prime example of that is, bringing Elon Musk on stage when this whole like fiasco surrounding Elon Musk was going on. And it's like, relating this to Katt Williams is like Katt Williams was talking about the comedians that kind of came after him. And Dave's whole thing was, hey, why are you going after black comedians, right? Like, why are you making this about race? Fucking motherfucker, make it about race. Like, you talking about Elon Musk, the fucking company Tesla that has multiple racial discrimination cases, right? The guy who's a fucking billionaire who essentially said, diversity programs are racist in and of itself. Yeah. Right? We're talking about this guy that you're bringing up on stage and big upping when everybody was like, kind of, because that was like when Elon Musk was starting to kind of get a lot of flack. Yeah. It was the whole Twitter shit, and like
he fired tens of thousands,
right?
Or like a bunch of them left,
yeah,
and such, and plus fired. But obviously, the show was in San Francisco.
Yeah,
a bunch of them were former Twitter employees,
and he was getting booed.
Yeah, and he was
getting booed,
and then he made fun of them for being poor.
Right. That was the most egregious part about it. Yeah. It was like, bro, really? You talking about not punching down? You talking about fucking, racial justice. This guy's the complete opposite of that. And you're big up in this guy. And so when he talked about Katt Williams making it about race, I was like, bro, honestly, shut the fuck up about that. Like, you sound so out of touch right now. And like, I never really had that kind of reaction with Dave until like this whole Elon shit started happening. And I'm like, and at that point I was just kind of like, I don't know about this, man.
I mean, I will say this though, like one of the things that I guess I generally don't disagree with the public, or I disagree with the public, is that Katt's whole thing is that, oh, these comics came after me. That's actually not true at all. He came after them first, and he's going after their rebuttal.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Or you know, in case like Cedric, like him stealing his jokes and living off of it, making money off of it, right?
Yeah, but that's not him coming after him. Like
he was on Club Shay Shay and saying, nah, that's not the story. Like, it doesn't align. The story's not true. And that's why Katt went on.
Yeah, so Katt
Williams... You had these
Williams...
people on your show say this, and he rebutted.
Exactly.
Right.
So, like, for example, Tiffany Haddish never went after him.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart never went after him.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart rebutted after he started calling him an industry. This is before the Club Shay Shay one. We're talking about the previous attack.
Yeah.
Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been a longtime sponsor of BetterHelp because guess what? They have been a huge part of my life. I am always trying to be a better person, and that starts with how I deal with my mentals. When I was younger, I thought it was something that didn't matter, and there was a huge stigma around it. I think one of the things that we're going to focus on the most this year in 2024 is probably the relationships that we have with the people in our lives. And listen, a common misconception about relationship is that they have to be easy to be right. And that's wrong, because sometimes the best ones happen when both people put in the work and make them great. Therapy can be a place to work through the challenges you face in all of your relationships, whether with friends, work, your significant other, or anyone. And I know you guys have been there because I have been there before too. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/genius today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/genius.
So a majority of the stuff that Katt Williams is talking about is him either trying to recorrect what people said because he said they're lying, but most of the stuff is him just attacking people. Right, when he came on it was with him and the comedian Red something, I forgot. It was the one where him and that lady Wanda, he fucking wrecked her.
Yeah. If
you guys haven't seen that, you have to watch it because it's one of the funniest things. I probably watch it 4 times a year now.
That was her bad though. That was her bad.
We're not. This was one of the worst roasts I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I watch it consistently now, and it's still funny as the first time I've ever seen it because I've never seen somebody get demolished that bad verbally ever.
The funniest shit is she keeps trying. She keeps trying.
So if you go back to that interview, right, there's now multiple interviews that came up after, right, that kind of paint the bigger picture of things. So the original comedian that was being put up was something Red. I actually don't know who he is, but he's a pretty popular Atlanta comic, I believe. And he was there to promote. Katt was there as well. So Wanda goes into the back room and be like, oh, Katt Williams, he's a legend. He just won an award for Atlanta. Let's get him on the radio show. So Wanda comes in and she does her thing. He's like, hey, Katt, like, I want you to be on the show. He's like, no, I'm not here. This is for Red. This is his time. I don't want to blah, 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 blah. Well, he starts warming up to the idea. He goes, okay, well, if I come onto the radio show, there's a couple of things I don't want you to bring up. The arrests, certain things like drugs, whatever, whatnot.
Right away.
And then that's where he kept it at.
Yeah.
So if you guys watch this fucking interview, she started coming in trying to make the jokes about what he cooks for kids. And that's where it just goes. Boom. It switches.
What's your favorite thing to cook? Your boys,
They like for me to, I do a really nice broccoli. They like my broccoli and they love my baked chicken.
Hey, right now, look up your phone and see what it takes to make broccoli and tell me does it say heat up water?
Shut up.
Is that the only step in broccoli? Heat up water?
Whatever.
Have you ever heard of burned broccoli? Can you burn broccoli? You can't burn it because it's made in a pot of water.
You don't know nothing about.
You know what her second meal they love from her? What I do with corn.
Whatever.
I like to dig it out that can and I put it in there. And then I get a can of water and I put it on there. And then I get some Zatarain's. They don't expect that. I sprinkle Zatarain's on my
great
corn.
cook. Whatever.
Yes, ma'am. You good at heating stuff up.
You're good at telling us about what's going on in jail.
She gets offended, and then she does the thing that she's not supposed to do. And she says, you look pretty in jail, or something like that. And now all bets are off.
Yeah.
Because you broke the contract now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, I explicitly told you I'm not here for me. You brought me on, and now you want to do this. Now it's time to go.
Yeah.
And he fucking flames her so fucking hard. There are jokes in there that I wish I would have thought of. And it's just like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Big on the radio?
Yeah, he's like, girl, you big on the radio. It's like, I was like, God damn. job, dude. Fool was making fun of her hair, her jewelry, everything, dude. And it was probably one of the worst verbal slaughterings I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you don't want to fucking get into a roast battle with a legit comedian, man, ever.
Or just Katt Williams. Like, Katt Williams is just not the fucking one to do it to. You just kind of sit back. And I think her thing too was she was like, I love Katt, I respect him, and I could have gone in on him, but because I respect him so much, I didn't want to. No, that was not the case.
Yeah, she have her husband come after him with a gun?
Yeah, so I guess she kind of told what happened to the husband. Obviously, she was clearly upset.
Right.
Her husband's a big-ass dude. He shows up to the club with a gun. I think he kind of flashes, doesn't point it at him, but basically it was like he was going to fucking kill Katt Williams.
Yeah.
So there's some crazy shit that happened because of that. But basically, anyways, to go back to the Dave Chappelle thing with like Dave's idea is that he doesn't like it because of what happens to like the community of black comedians when you know Katt Williams stirs this shit up. And one of the points that he brought up was that, okay, if we're talking about like how corrupt things are, right? He only specifically attacks black comedians. What about all these other white execs that you talk about? You don't name them by their name. You only specifically name these comedians that are in our community. But you go, the studios, how come you won't say their name? What are their names? Right? Because if you're going to go as far as to attack people in our community, right, who are black comedians, black comics, female comics, and everything else like that, why are you so shy about naming these execs that you specifically know when you have all these receipts? Which I actually didn't think about that too. It's like, why is he so elusive with their names but not?
No, but the thing is, my take on it was, why does it have to be about race? If that's the case, if you want to shed light on corruption, why do you have to draw the line at black comedians? Why can't it just be across the board then?
Well, that's what he's saying though.
No. So Dave Chappelle feels like, don't attack black comedians, right? But it kind of indirect way of saying, yeah, it's cool if you talk shit about other comedians.
No, that's not what he said. He said that he specifically said that there are names that others, that like these white execs, you should name them too. Why is it that he's only saying the names first and last of these people, but he's protecting the identity of these other people is what he's alluding to.
I go to niggas' baby christenings, I go to their weddings, I've gone to niggas' funerals, and we're part of the game. It's this. He only eats the niggas. He didn't say anything about any of these white boys. And none of these white boys function like that. And Katt is one of the best painters in the game. So why are you drawing all ugly pictures of us? Stop.
It's similar to Kanye where he was just saying the Jews.
Yes.
It was like, who was the exec?
Say the name.
Who was the guy who screwed you over, right? Say the name. Yeah. I understand that, but then at the same time, he was saying it's not good for comedy, not black comedy.
Yeah.
His argument, it's not good for comedy. And that's where D. Ray Davis got up without a mic and started yelling. He looked pissed.
Yeah.
Which was interesting to see. I didn't know it was like that.
I don't even know what D. Ray was saying because he wasn't on the mic.
He wasn't on the mic, but he was saying shit like, it is good for comedy because we're exposing these thieves.
Yeah.
Right? And then Dave Chappelle was just saying, no, it's not good for comedy because I had shit happen to me and I didn't destroy anybody's career to do it. I just said my piece.
I mean, Dave Chappelle talked about the fucking guy who stole his joke when he was a kid. What special was that on? Like a couple special he talking about when he was like 15 or something, right? The dude stole his joke from him. He fucking put him on blast by name.
No, he didn't.
He didn't say
there was no name.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
100%.
no name.
He didn't say
no
the
name.
name.
Yeah.
Oh,
he just said it was an older comic. And then he said he just took the joke. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he had named him in that one.
He didn't say the name.
So
Okay.
that's where also I thought that Dave Chappelle was just lost in that again.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, tell me, is it bad for black comedy or is it bad for comedy, period?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like Joe Rogan going out calling out joke thieves all over the place all the time too.
Yeah, like Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he's going to beat his ass.
I do disagree with Dave Chappelle about that though. Like if somebody is stealing, like, look, we're on the internet now, right? You're going to hear jokes overlap more than you have ever heard in your life, right? Like even recently I did like a random video on somebody's like, I heard this from somebody else's stand-up set. I was like, this is the most generic joke ever. What the fuck are you talking about? It's about a husband talking about his wife nagging him to get stuff for him. Like,
right.
that's as generic as it fucking gets. Of course you're gonna hear this fucking joke, you fucking idiot. But to go as far as to call me a joke, I was like, if that's the joke that I stole, fucking kill me now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the worst comic. Fucking kill me now.
That's how you're gonna rise to fame.
Yes. You know, wives are annoying, right? Oh, you stole it. You're like, shut the fuck up. Anyways, but like now you're gonna see this part happen so much. So when it's like, I very much disagree. I think that Katt Williams has the right to specifically call out Cedric the Entertainer because I saw the bit that he stole. It's literally act for act, soundtrack, word for word, everything. I disagree with Dave on that. That should be called out by a name because it's a constituent that's within his circle that sees him. You know what I mean? So for him not to say that by name, I think that would be kind of weird. I would if I knew a comedian who made a living off of my jokes, right? Stole the thing bit for bit. Like it's almost, it's not even one of those things where it's it's a similar joke. It's a joke about him, like something about cars and like how you write it, and then a music track plays over it. Yeah, and it's the same one. Yeah, stole that shit. Steve Harvey, same thing. He did a bit. I forgot which one.
Getting gas.
The getting gas thing. That shit is a mirror joke exactly. You can't even get away with it. It's as similar as Carlos Mencia and the Bill Cosby joke. That's how tight it is. I don't think that it's wrong for Katt Williams to be like, you stole my fucking shit. Yeah. Because they've made millions off of their comedy, off of his stuff.
It was their closers.
It was their closers. Yeah. So does he have a right to call them out by name? 100%. Because I think it's kind of, because I guess what happens then if you just let that happen and you don't call people out specifically? They just get away with it. Right?
Robin Williams. That was a big thing that he was known for, was stealing jokes and saying him on the TV show he was on. But it's because he would say things so rapid fire, right? It would slip out. So he would go back to the comedy clubs and give somebody a check for the joke he used on the TV show.
Yeah,
kind of
that was like the biggest thing too, where people would like, that's why nobody flacked him for it, because he had like ADHD, ADD like a motherfucker. And sometimes like he didn't really have much of a set. He would ramble things. And I think like when you're doing that on stage, he's saying just all these random jokes he's heard. And then they'll be like, what the fuck? He's like, you're right. I did take your joke. You're 100% right. He would own up to it, you know? And they knew that about him. And then he would pay people off, not because he knew he was going to do it. I think he genuinely felt like, oh, fuck, you know? So he would have to pay people out. So like, I think like Dave is kind of wrong in that kind of case of like, well, you shouldn't call these people out by their names. I just disagree with like, if you're going to do that, then those other people that you keep mentioning in these studios that you say you had the receipts for, why can't you just say their first and last name too?
Yeah, so I think I misunderstood it. I thought Dave was talking about, you know, why are you going after black comedians and like, you know, these people are just trying to work and it's like hurting our community. But then, you know, I took that as like, well, why are you drawing the line there?
Well, he did say that, but in totality, he also mentioned that part too.
I mean, one of his points was that he released his special this very same day that Club Shay Shay interview came out, and he's like, and I didn't destroy anybody. I just said my jokes, right? And so his argument being what Katt did is just bad for comedy. I just don't understand. Like, you got to call out thieves.
Yeah, they stole his jokes. Like, what do you like? I don't know.
No, that there's. I don't,
like, what do you
I don't
want?
think there's any argument of like, yeah, did what Katt did was wrong or right. I mean, that's how he makes a living. And if somebody else steals what you do to make a living,
I would call them
and
out.
they make a living off of it, you have to call them out on it.
Yeah.
Or just be passive and just disappear. But that's not in his nature, right? I mean, he loves to he loves the confrontation. He loves the roast.
So. Yeah, but that was interesting watching that whole thing go down and watch even like D-Ray go back and forth with him, because it kind of puts out this picture that all comics are for Dave Chappelle, right? They even call him the person who saved comedy during the pandemic, which I still do agree. Like, did you guys like his last special?
I didn't watch it.
I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Yeah,
I liked it a lot
three times over.
I thought it was really fucking funny. I liked his previous special more, but I thought it was just as good. There was like, he definitely took a lot more risks on this one in terms of like how he set up his jokes. Yeah, it was different. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this is like another different version of Dave Chappelle. So
yeah, I haven't seen the special yet. I've just been busy, but it's on the list.
Like,
yeah.
On your word on like him being disconnected from the common person now, it sort of rings true to me. Like with a lot of people, when you start making
once you get to
tens
level,
of millions of dollars, like how do you relate to us, regular folk? So another person in fire for that was Tom Segura. Did you see that whole shit with the airline first?
Yeah.
Like, it was a booked flight, and so they said that he had to check his bag, and he didn't want to do that. He Karened out all over Twitter, called the stewardess a cunt, and like was just shitting on the employees, right? Yeah. And so people were replying like, dude, they're just employees. Like, it's not a big deal. They checked your bag.
Yeah,
that's
policy.
It. Yeah.
It's just policy.
It's full. It's booked. And then he says, it's because you're poor. And he started making fun of poor people. Like, he went on a triad of poor people jokes, right? You're poor, you're poor, you're poor. Then he kept going at it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Then on his podcast, making fun of poor people. And then, and it wasn't like making fun of poor, but he was saying his audience is poor. You're poor. That's why you hate me.
Oh, that's just stupid.
Right? And then, like, there was another specific thing he had done.
Take. Like, what's his deal? Like, why would you even say that?
But here's the...
You just Karen down. He just went off on
But here's the thing.
Oh, wash rags. He and his wife on Your Mom's House were talking about, do you get this like wash rag thing? Like, why do people keep saying we have to use a wash rag in the shower?
Wait, what do they use?
Nothing. And
like no
he
loofah,
said,
no nothing.
Yeah, and then he and his wife was saying, is that like a black thing? And Tom Segura goes, no, that's a poor people thing. That's what poor people do.
What the fuck?
So mind you, Tom Segura's father was like an executive in Goldman Sachs. So he grew up rich.
Yeah.
So he actually, it looks like he actually has a disdain for poor people.
Well, also too, it's just that like no matter how quote unquote normal an individual might appear when they have that much fame and money, they are not.
Yeah.
Because their lives are just too different from the everyday person.
Yeah.
They could have started out regular, but you get to a certain point where things shift so much, it's impossible. It's impossible for you to be an everyday man or woman because you're just not part of that. Everything is different. Like the way you live your life, even going back to Dave Chappelle, just listen to some of the stories people talk about being with Dave Chappelle, like what that status and that aura being around him.
He just smokes anywhere. He's
right.
Like, I'm Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He smokes.
What it allows him to do and how how he moves, how he's able to move from one place to the next just because he's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And he's all about it. He's not shying away from it. he's actually, basking in it.
That's how he avoids a lot of the criticism, is because he recognizes his flaws. He recognizes his hypocrisy and he turns them into jokes.
Yeah.
That at least keeps him a real person.
Yeah.
But then there are little holes where it's like, I don't think you get this part of society.
It's interesting because everybody seemingly in the Joe Rogan network, it seems like, it's like I would say 95% people love them, right? But the 5% that fucking hate them, they keep making videos about them.
Right.
Like there's there's YouTube channels dedicated to why Tom Segura is not funny, why Bert Kreischer's not funny. It's like, damn, dog, these people hate them.
Yeah.
And they're making content off of every time they upload a podcast, they watch their whole podcast so they could pick it apart and make a video off of them.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that's a lot of energy to hate somebody.
No, but the thing is, it's like, maybe it could have started out with a genuine disdain for that person, but then once they realize, oh shit, this actually
views,
gets views, makes money, then it just becomes that's their brand, right?
Yeah.
Look, man, there's plenty of fucking talking heads who will just say whatever. It's not aligned with their personal beliefs or their morals. They'll just say it because they know it's gonna get clicks. Yeah, it's gonna cause division. That's the fucking media, right?
I think they see themselves as the police enforcers of behavior.
Yeah. This is how you should behave as a real person, as a human being.
Yeah, there are those types too.
Yeah,
it's a little weird. The only thing that I saw from Tom Segura recently, which actually fucking had me dying laughing, was a clip where they showed this girl who's a barista.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a girl named Caitlin.
Oh, I saw that.
And she's a barista that's really, really large, overweight. She has like her own coffee company where she travels and does like pop up like cappuccino coffee stuff, right? And so this girl blew up on TikTok and also Instagram because of her comments, and they just roast the shit out of her. And she's not doing anything. Yeah. Like literally, she's
staying
just
positive.
Yeah.
Positive, sweet round girl.
Yeah.
And then she's just talking, and then she'll just be like, "Good morning, friend. Good morning. How are you?" And then she'll do her outfit of the day. Bro, you read these comments, and it is vicious, dude.
I'm sure, man. I'm sure that's the danger of putting anything up on the internet,
and she
right?
just writes back, not angry, and she just says, "You guys have a blessed day. Have a nice day." And she only responds back to positivity.
Yeah.
But that just makes people make fun of her more.
Right.
So like the top comment that they have is like, "Hate from," and then whatever country they're from. They go, "Hate from Spain. Hate from Australia." And then there was one comment that fucking had me. I didn't write this comment, but she's like round, and then she has like the Harry Potter glasses. And so they started calling her Harry Pot Roast.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm just like, yo, you guys are so fucking mean, dude. Why would you say that? And he was talking about it on that podcast clip, and it was just that. It was as bad as he said it was. It's so fucking bad, dude. Yeah. She was wearing this purple suit. That's like her favorite outfit. They called her Grimace.
Yeah.
They said, dude, Harry Pot Roast is the one that fucking got my ass.
Like the top comments are always just like, "This is not the positive comment you're looking for. Keep scrolling."
Yeah.
And you're not gonna. The hilarious thing is you're not gonna actually find a positive comment.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
I mean,
I can't believe she's like still out there,
dude. And guess what though? It's growing her following. She has 100K followers on Instagram now. Blew up her TikTok. So hey, it's working for her.
It's the Wild West on the internet, bro. People fucking, you're gonna catch those strays, man.
You can't control what people say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just like watching that, watching her gain fame from people just roasting her is the wildest thing I've ever seen. Because I kept on looking at her videos like, did she do something that kind of pissed people off? Is she annoying? And I looked at it, I was like, there's nothing.
She's a sweetheart.
She's just, there's literally nothing. Yeah. She's just making coffee.
Yeah. Just the fact that she's overweight is what is like getting people.
It seems like they're trying to break her down.
It's not working.
It's not working, yeah. But maybe that's why they love going on to see what the roast.
They just like it because they want to see what the roasts are. I mean, let's just say this: she is unique looking. Mm-hmm. She's not just like an overweight girl. She looks very unique.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where people kind of roast her a lot.
Well, I mean, it could be something really fucking small that just became a meme, and then everybody hopped. Like for example, the oiling up Dana White, right? That was a small little thing that turned into a big thing, and now every fucking post, it's like Dana. Yeah. Bust out the oil up, let's oil Dana up.
He plays into it now.
Yeah.
And he says if this post gets 10,000 comments, he'll announce the UFC 300
or get oil if it, get oil himself up with the.
I don't think and he will oil.
Oh, it was and. Yeah. Oh.
But then this guy got 40,000 comments. It's like you should have raised the bar on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with the Nina drama, right? Yeah. So it could have been one of those where like one small little roast thing. We're like, oh, let's hop on this bandwagon, and now that's her thing. That's kind of become her thing. Unfortunately, she's on the receiving end of it. But
isn't Tom Segura part of that too? He started trolling Garth Brooks.
What? What Garth Brooks?
I don't know. Random. That's why it's so random. Yeah. And so I think it was because in his post, he doesn't look like a real person. Because he's been famous for so long.
Yeah.
And he is kind of weird. He's kind of kooky. Like, in his photos, it definitely looks like he's a mannequin or something.
Okay.
So they kind of
put like a lot of makeup, or he's got a lot of work done.
I don't know. It could be the way his eyes look. But then, so they were saying it looks like a serial killer. Right? And so his comments would always be like, "Where did you hide the bodies?" Or "Where's my grandma?" Right? And then it got to a point where people came to his shows with posters of those comments like, "Where'd you hide the bodies?"
That's
what I'm saying.
Now,
that's the internet, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, because of that, Garth Brooks, one of the biggest country stars in the world, shut down his comments because of Tom Segura.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, he's getting a taste of his own medicine then.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think like from what I've seen from him, and Tom Segura's first Netflix special is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny, but you could tell that if you tell him not to do something, he'll do it more.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you can't make those poor jokes. So he's like, okay, I'll do more.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll just do it over just to piss people off, because I think he enjoys being a troll. So he'll just keep doing it. So when people make videos about how terrible a person, I think he likes it.
Right.
Like, do it more. Like, I'll just keep making these poor jokes. I think he's a kind of crazy person like that.
Gets off on it.
I mean, like Andrew Schultz is getting heat for that kind of stuff because he's so unapologetic. I mean, and he does edgy jokes, which that's his thing, right? And so when people come after him, he's just gonna go even more towards the end.
I saw a video too where they're like, why Andrew Schultz is not even funny, and I'm like,
what?
I don't know. I've seen that guy live. I've seen his shit. He cracks me the fuck up. He's so funny.
Yeah.
But it's just like, when you get to a certain level of success, people are just gonna hate you.
Yeah, there's no way around it. You're gonna have one side and the other side.
Well, it's the person behind the jokes, right? So it's kind of like with Tom Segura being, the son of a Goldman Sachs like executive to start making poor people jokes is fucked up. And then the same way with Dave Chappelle grew up poor, and so he feels like an entitlement to make fun of poor people, right? But then now, because he has $100 million, they're like, you shouldn't make fun of poor people.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, where's that line too as well, right? Like with Andrew Schultz, he grew up rich. He grew up in a 2-story apartment in Manhattan, and he owns up to it, all that stuff. But then, and so people see that and be like, oh, I hate that type, and then he shouldn't be saying those jokes. Like, what?
Yeah,
anybody can say anything, literally. Right. So it's literally just the commenters behind the scenes just being haters.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like the way you grew up.
Well, I think that kind of ties into the whole comedy conversation and back to the Katt Williams and Dave Chappelle thing, is that like, where is the line drawn then? Right? Within comedy, within what you can say, what you can't say, who you call out, who you can't call out. Like, so where is that line? And so, I mean, I don't know.
So that's where I'm curious then. Why doesn't Dave Chappelle and Katt Williams call out who the Illuminati is?
Yeah.
Who are these heads?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's just as valid as an argument towards Dave Chappelle's side, is that like, well, if you're saying, why doesn't he call out people? Why don't you call out people? You know? Like, you're in the industry, you've been through, being blackballed and, getting kind of put under the gun with pressure of like, hey, here's X amount of money, this is what you need to do. Why don't you call out by name? Because he called out the company, but not necessarily the individuals involved.
I think for him, it's because it happened 20 years ago. The executives are completely different people.
Yeah, it wouldn't even make a fucking difference.
Yeah,
right?
so it's not it's just what happened to him at that network. Yeah. Everybody knows he was at that network anyway.
Yeah, so you guys are basically saying that Dave Chappelle agrees with Katt's sentiment in terms of like, you should be calling out everybody, but his problem was that you only called out black comedians though.
But at the same time, if a white comedian stole Katt Williams' joke, would it even work on stage?
I know, dude.
I think everyone would be like, what the fuck?
Maybe Gary Owen, that's about it.
And if it was a white comedian that stole his joke, I don't think Katt would have any problem, roasting that comedian either. So it just happened to be that the people that he called out were black, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing he did say about white comedians was, there are 6 unfunny comedians that Joe Rogan keeps putting on. Yeah. And also, he put out Gary Owen's name in a way of saying, this guy is white and hilarious, yet why isn't he...
Right.
Like, why is he always hitting a ceiling? Why is it just a black audience?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing he was saying, is because he never sucked a dick. You know? So I think Katt Williams was saying, like, it's not a black or white thing. It's just Hollywood.
Yeah, and then Katt's also, too, it's just like, I think he was a little irresponsible with, like, he's calling Kevin Hart. He's like, you're an industry plant. It's like, you said you had receipts. Where's the receipts?
Yeah.
You can't just say shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
look, that kind of goes back to our conversation when we talked about this topic, was like, what's true, what's not, what's the bit, all of that, right? And so it's hard. It's hard to say, because some of the things that he says are factual, right? And some of them are outrageous.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. And so even within that, that's the context, right? Like, okay, you can't take everything at face value. Then what do you categorize as truth and not truth?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Right?
It's impossible. Yeah. Except for the things you can fact check for sure.
Yeah, like all the clips, all the stuff like that. I think that's the part that people cling on to that gives him the amount of credibility. Yeah. Where they just kind of look over everything.
Yeah, that's like because what that he said was true.
Everything else has to be true. Yeah. It's like, no. He did not read 3,000 books a fucking year as a fucking 5-year-old.
Right.
The fuck out of here with that shit, dude. If he did, I don't know.
So what's your guys' take ultimately on what Dave Chappelle, his response?
I just don't. I don't think that Katt Williams. I don't know if it's a right or wrong thing. I think that's Katt. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's going to do anything to any of their fucking careers. Like Steve Harvey's still going to make money. Cedric is still going to make money. And at the end of the day, they did steal his shit. So
and it elevated them to the next level.
Exactly. So does Katt Williams have a right to say that? 1,000% he does. Whether Dave Chappelle agrees that it's bad for comedy, fine. But why does Katt have to be the martyr then? Why does he have to be the one to take it on the chin and have everybody jack his shit and be successful off of his own stuff?
Yeah.
Like why is Katt put into that position? I don't think that's fair at all. I don't think it's fair for Dave to say that Katt shouldn't do that, but it did happen to him.
Right.
It's like telling a victim just to not say anything because no, you are the victim. So you speak out about your shit.
Right.
You know?
I think he had an attempt of positivity, but it's like not in this case, bro. Like he's saying, I didn't call nobody out and I'm a success.
Cool. That's
a lot
good
of bad
for you.
things. Yeah, good for you. Like exactly. But then, how can you expect someone like Katt Williams to do it like you?
Right. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's like it's good for you, Dave. You know what I mean? I think that's fine. That was your methodology. But at the same time, if Dave called out people by his name, that'd also been fine too. So it's just choose your path. I think it would have been fine either way. And I think Katt Williams calling people out for stealing his stuff, I think that's okay too.
I think the other thing was you could hear he says, if Katt wants to come after me, like he was kind of a veiled threat, like you don't want this smoke kind of thing.
Yeah, well, but he also did too say that he wonders why Katt doesn't share his story because it's like heartbreaking.
Right.
I don't know what he was alluding to with that. But yeah, he was just saying he was confused why he doesn't share his story because it's like so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what that means.
Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think Dave Chappelle was out of line? You think Katt Williams was right? Do you think Katt Williams lies? And also, I will see you Monday, Pete, and we're going to have a long conversation.
Better have my money.
We'll have my fucking money. And if you fucking don't, I'm going to break your fucking kneecap. Genius Brain every Sundays at 12 p.m. Secret Society for all your high-quality fashion basics. That's SCRTSOCIETY.com. You can catch Ed at Ed Park VP, and then you can catch the other Ed at Ed and also Secret Society at SCRTSOCIETY, and then Bible study at Momo. See y'all next time. Genius Brain Sundays at 12 p.m. Peace.
Peace.